Hey everybody, we are going to take a look at the Quadra-module. This is a variation of the Tetra-module, and we are going to add something called backfolds. And I'm going to point out right in the beginning that you will not have to embellish the panel that is the single cell panel, because that's where you're putting glue, and you would just be gluing over your artwork. So you can actually leave that blank today. And when it's time to glue everything together, nobody will see that particular set of cells. I have drawn in dotted lines to show you where the backfolds are. This is on a regular 16 grid. We've torn one piece of paper long ways, or hot dog style, and that gives us two sheets. That's all we need to be able to complete this project. And I've made a couple notes on here that are important, so that we know what a squaring fold is, and we know that we have to fold over the double cell side of the paper before we start our squaring fold. These are important notes to stick with. Once we start to do our squaring folds, what that's going to do is it's going to leave us with a design that looks a lot like 4 octagons all connected. And I took the time to do a little bit of erasing on here, so to remind you of what that's going to look like when all of the corners have been folded over. And the other thing to point out is that there is always going to be one strip of cells that never get cut, they never get folded, nothing ever happens to them. And so keep an eye on that in the illustration, just as a reminder. You know, that's one set of cells that holds everything in the project together. And what I've done is I've erased some of the lines so that you can see what a folded 16 grid looks like when you put all the back folds in. And it does look like 8 octagons next to each other. Or 4 octagons, I'm sorry. So 4 8-sided figures stuck next to each other. So just take a look at this. It's somewhat entertaining. And once I erase everything, then of course you guys know the next move is to unfold everything again and go back to the 16 grid. And then you're ready to start gluing. So that's what I've done in this particular case. I've kind of tried to, with the magic of this time-lapse photography, kind of show you what it would be like to have folded down all the corners and been left with this neat pattern, which you might, end up using on some other project if you have a project that calls for a bunch of octagons. So in this case, once we've folded down all the corners, you get this octagon pattern. Then you open everything back up. You unfold everything. And once everything's unfolded, you go to the section that is only one set of cells. You go ahead and put your glue on that section. You glue everything together just like you normally would if you were doing a Tetra-module, which you did last week. And then we start to push in all of the back folds. And that's what gives us those really cool angled corners on everything. So that's where I need you guys to be. And you can choose your own kind of embellishment, and definitely get that embellishment done before you glue everything together. It's a lot easier to embellish when the paper is flat. When it's planar, when it's a flat pattern, it's way easier to get your art in there. If you want to use words, if you want to use shapes, colors, whatever you want to use. I would avoid crayon to some degree because it's waxy and it may be hard to fold the paper. But you could use colored pencil, marker. You've got a variety of other things that you can use to embellish on. Once again, remember that there is that one section, which is your single cell section, that just gets glue put on it. So you don't need to draw on that. You don't need to put anything significant on it because it's going to get glued. All right, do your best, take your time, and good luck.